Got a very special saint to share with you today. His name is Saint Ignatius of Loyola. He was a soldier of Christ and a founder of the Society of Jesus, known as the Jesuits. Saint Ignatius of Loyola was born in 1491 and he died in 1556. He was born Inigo Lopez de Loyola in the Basque region of Spain. He stands among the most influential saints of the Catholic Church. Initially a courtier and soldier, Ignatius's early life was marked by ambitions of military glory. However, in 1521, during the Battle of Pamplona, he sustained a grievous cannonball injury to his legs. This forced convalescence became the catalyst for his profound spiritual transformation. Deprived of his usual pursuits, he read the life of Christ and lives of the saints, which ignited in him a fervent desire to serve God alone. Following his conversion, Ignatius renounced his former life and undertook a pilgrimage to the shrine of Our Lady of Montserrat. Thereafter, he spent months in Manresa in prayer and asceticism, where he experienced profound mystical revelations, later forming the basis of his seminal spiritual work, the Spiritual Exercises. He studied theology at the University of Paris, where he gathered a group of companions equally devoted to Christ. In 1534, they took vows of poverty, chastity, and apostolic mission, culminating in the formal approval of the Society of Jesus, Jesuits, by Pope Paul III in 1540. Ignatius's life was marked by spiritual gifts, including mystical visions and reported healings through his intercession. Though not primarily associated with physical miracles during his life, the transformative power of his teachings and countless conversions wrought through Jesuit missions stands as a testimony to his sanctity. Canonized in 1622, St. Ignatius is venerated as the patron saint of retreats, soldiers, and educators. His legacy endures through the worldwide Jesuit educational and missionary apostolates, characterized by rigorous intellectual formation and deep spiritual devotion. St. Ignatius's life exemplifies the triumph of divine grace over worldly ambition, forging a soldier into a saint. Now, what I'd like to do is I'm going to turn this camera around here, and I'm going to show you two beautiful relics that I have of St. Ignatius of Loyola. Okay, so I just want to talk to you real quick about these two beautiful relics here. So this one is a little loose in the top. You can see this, I forgot exactly what you call that, the floor or whatever it is. Anyways, that's loose, but this is ex capite, St. Ignatius of Loyola. So from the skull of St. Ignatius of Loyola. It's a very beautiful relic. Let me see if I can get this out right here. Let's see here. There we go. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Very beautiful seal. Zoomed in here. Look at that. Is that nice? Now, I can't see it too clearly from the angle I'm looking at, but if you're watching this and you know whose seal this is, please let me know. It's a beautiful seal. Threads are in contact. They're all in. Nothing loose. You can see right here, ex capite sancti, Ignatius of Loyola. So from the skull of St. Ignatius of Loyola, from the head. A very beautiful relic. Love that right there. This one is ex carne. So from the flesh of St. Ignatius of Loyola. This has also got a very beautiful little seal. Look at that right there. It's almost like the Blessed Mother surrounded by 12 stars is what it looks like. On this very beautiful shield with what looks to be a papal tiara on top. Very, very nice. Let's see if we can get some more light in here. Yeah, if you know that seal, please comment below. This one's held in by wire. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So St. Ignatius of Loyola, what a beautiful life they led. And you know what's also interesting, I wanted to talk about this real quick, is that he, was convalescing. He was recovering from the cannonball shot. And while he was laying there for months on end, he read the lives of the saints. He read the lives of the saints. And this is actually how my grandfather converted. My grandfather, when he converted, someone gave him the book of the lives of the saints, and he began to read that, and it changed his life, and it converted him. And when I was growing up, one of my favorite books growing up was The Lives of the Saints. My mother had given me when I was a little kid, and I would read it every night. I would look at it during the rosary while we were all praying the family rosary, and I'd look at this little book and read on the lives of the saints and see the pictures of the saints, and I always thought, that's what I want to be. That's what I want to grow up to be, as one of these great saints of the church. And they have such inspiring lives. And to know exactly what St. Francis of Loyola here, what he did. St. Ignatius of Loyola, what he did for the church. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. There's over 50 canonized Jesuit saints now. Over 50 of them. They founded a lot of schools, hundreds of schools, colleges, universities, all from around the world. Many of them are highly renowned. The spiritual exercises of St. Ignatius are a cornerstone of Catholic spiritual direction. These are beautiful. I know of two groups that specifically do this. Miles Christi, which unfortunately is suppressed at the moment. I used to go to their Ignatian retreats when they would come into the States here. So Miles Christi, and then the other one is IVE. IVE is also, unfortunately, they've really fallen from grace. They were what seemed to be a good community, but I believe, what's his name? Oh gosh. Cardinal McCarrick, the former Cardinal McCarrick, I should say, Mr. McCarrick, who recently died. He spent a lot of time down in IVE seminaries. So there's a lot of corruption, I believe, in that order, unfortunately. But one of the things that they really push on is they really push these Ignatian retreats. And I remember when I attended one of their Ignatian retreats, it was beautiful. It was very, very nice. It brought spiritual renewal to my life. And the Ignatian retreats are amazing. If you get a chance, if there's an Ignatian retreat being offered anywhere close to you, highly recommend that you go. Man, woman, doesn't matter. Go to those retreats. They are amazing. Okay, so I wanted to share some quotes from famous Jesuits. So St. Ignatius of Loyola, one of the great quotes that he said is, "Go forth and set the world on fire." Isn't that beautiful? Go forth, set the world on fire. We definitely need that today. St. Francis Xavier said, "Give me the children until they are 7, and anyone may have them afterwards." Which was, he's really highlighting the importance of early spiritual formation. Everything comes down to formation in our life. And you can see this in the chaos of the world. One of the things that pops up on my YouTube channel all the time is the channel Law and Crime. And it gets depressing when you look at this and you look at all the crimes going on around the world. And you're wondering, how in the world did that person get to that point in their life that they would do something insane like this? It's awful. Well, it really comes down to formation. Think about it. St. Francis Xavier, when he said, "Give me the children until they are 7, and anyone may have them afterwards," he wanted to form those children. So up until the age of 7, allow them to expand into the world, to live a life dedicated to Christ. Isn't that beautiful? That's what we need. And this is what the world needs. There's no longer any set formation. Children are not being raised in the Christian life. They're not being taught these things. They're just being raised in communities or homes with absolutely zero faith. And then, people wonder, well, how in the world did they get to this point? Well, that's how they got to the point. That's how they did it, is because they didn't have any faith. No one formed them. St. Peter Claver said, "We must speak to them with our hands before we try to speak to them with our lips." And he was really referring to his missionary work with enslaved Africans. And he was really trying to get across that, people needed to prioritize love and action. That's another very beautiful one, to show them through action that we love them. Not just saying, hey, I love you, come and convert, that type of thing. Show it through love and sharing and caring with our neighbors. St. Edmund Campion said, "The expense is reckoned, the enterprise is begun. It is of God, it cannot be withstood." And that was really a bold declaration of faith on his part with the persecution of Elizabeth in England. St. Edmund Campion. I remember watching a documentary just recently, and it wasn't a Catholic one. It was actually just a generic documentary on YouTube, and it was talking about where St. Edmund Campion hid, and I believe it was in the chimney of a castle in England that was owned by Catholics. And they created a fake chimney, and they hid him in the chimney for quite a long time. And unfortunately, he was discovered in there and then, executed, put in the tower and then executed. St. Robert Bellarmine said, "Sweet Lord, you are humility, patience, love, and obedience. And I am pride, impatience, hatred, and disobedience. Help me." Think about that. St. Robert Bellarmine, what a beautiful mind. It was a deep, humble prayer of self-awareness and divine reliance. And then the last one here that I'm going to quote is St. Claude de la Colombière. And this is actually, I believe, the spiritual director for St. Margaret Mary Alacoque, of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. So I believe this is her spiritual director. He was a very good man, obviously a saint. And he said, "What shall I fear? Is not my Lord with me? He is my sure defense." And that was the ultimate trust in divine providence, especially in suffering. I've been suffering with something for the last couple of years, almost a certain type of OCD that popped up, came upon me about a year and a half ago, out of the blue. I never had this issue before, and all of a sudden it just entered my life, and it really took over. For about the past year and a half, it's been awful. I've gone to confession, I've gone to priests, and they're like, it's okay. This is not a default. This is not a fault of your own. This is something that just happened. And I've been trying to work on this, but the other day when I was having one of these episodes of the OCD, when it came on, this type of whatever it is, I'm not going to talk about it because but it was this attack almost. And I kind of had this interior voice, what I felt was the Lord. And he told me, he said, "Why are you so afraid? Why are you suffering from this fear? Do you not trust me? Do you not trust me? I've got you." And I thought, yes, Lord, you do. And I just waved aside those feelings and they disappeared. Now, they're not completely gone, obviously, but for that moment, they were gone. And I'm starting to really now work on this of saying, "Jesus, I really trust in you. Lord, you really are my defense. And I know you're going to be here with me." So in these moments in our lives, these attacks or whatever you want to call them, I think we really need to go back to this right here. What shall I fear? Is not my Lord with me? He is my sure defense. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Jesus, I trust in you. St. Claude de Colombière. Beautiful. To absolutely trust in that divine providence. So, my dear friends, I'm going to end this video here, and we'll pick it up in the next video. I've got another great saint here to share with you. I've already worked on his video, and I've just got to record him here. So I'll give you a little look here of who this is. And this is Saint Gerlach de Houtum. Sorry, that's a little blurry. I don't know why it's zoomed in here. So Saint Gerlach de Houtum. And I believe this is from Belgium. He was a beautiful hermit. What an amazing life. Actually, very similar in certain aspects to Saint Ignatius of Loyola. He was also a soldier. He was in the military. And he went on to become, obviously, a great saint. So we'll be covering that in the next video. And hopefully I can get this shot in the next day or two and upload it. All right, my friends, just remember with our saints that Jesus is Lord, Mary is our mother, and the saints, they are our dear friends, and they point us to Christ. So we must always be faithful and remember they are here for us through all of our difficulties. But not only our difficulties, our joys as well. May God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video.